Hey, it's Amy from amyquilts.com, Amy's Free Motion Quilting Adventures, and Amy from So Simple of Lynchburg. I'm here in the So Simple studios to show you this great design that I've got going around these flying geese units. I'm using a straight ruler, a curved ruler, as well as just some regular free motion quilting. So let's take a look at those rulers I just mentioned. They're both through the quilted pineapple, the QP Edge number 12, which is a fabulous straight ruler. And also I'm using the number 12 low curve ruler, which is my ruler that has been made in cooperation with the quilted pineapple, and they are perfect for using on domestic sewing machines. You'll also see my machine gloves and the true grips that I use on my rulers to kind of help keep them from sliding around. And of course, you're going to want to use a ruler foot anytime you're using rulers. This ruler foot is for the Janome 15,000, 9400, and the 9450 model machines. And you can take a look at my machine now, as well as the settings that I'm using on this machine. And then let's get back to our quilt. So this is a panel project that I've done in conjunction with my Facebook page, where I've been doing a lot of live video quilting. The first thing we're going to do is do a stitch in the ditch. And of course, this is a printed panel, but this really makes our geese look like they are pieced and not just printed. And I'm using that straight ruler, 1/4 of an inch away from where I want it to stitch, to follow down the base of the goose. I'm not sure if I should call it a goose or a geese unit. I'm going to call it a goose. I could be wrong, but I like it. And then we're going to go across the short side here to the tip. And I'm keeping my hands both on the ruler and off the ruler at the same time. I've got a couple of fingers dropped off the edge over here, and that just gives me a good control of my ruler. And you'll see I like to use my ruler across the front and the sides, not behind the foot as much as possible. This is a long arm ruler. It's nice and thick and easy to hold on to. And because I'm not using it behind the foot, it doesn't matter what shank I have on my machine. So now I'm going to get my curve ruler. This is the QP12 low curve ruler. Turn it around over here so you can see it. There we go. The low curve number 12 by Linda Hershka and Amy Johnson. That's me. This is suitable for all domestic machines, no matter the shank type, because it has a nice gentle curve and you're not likely to use it behind the foot. So enough clearance, works great on all size blocks and spaces, very versatile, reaches across small spaces as well as large spaces. And get over here. And now while I'm at this corner, I want to go ahead and do that little free motion swirl that you can see up here. Let's get a little closer in. And that way I can do this design continuously. So I'm coming up out here with just kind of a double curved little swoosh. Almost like a little leaf shape up here at the top. Then a curly Q, coming back around and into that point again. Then I'm going to grab my ruler and we're headed for the tip of the goose. Now, if you look at my stitching, you can see that the curve came a lot farther in at the baseline than it did along the side here. And that's because this is a longer area for the ruler to span, so it can come in deeper. This is a shorter area. It doesn't come in as far. So some people don't like the look of this. They can just do a straight line. Some people will use a different size ruler so that the curves look the same despite the distance. I prefer to not put this curve in most of the time. However, if I leave that curve out, I can't stitch this design continuously. And I want to be able to stitch this design continuously because it eliminates a lot of stops and starts and helps me get done quickly. So there's the other side. And of course, while I'm talking about it, I don't get it done quickly, do I? And then you want to go ahead and do that free motion in the corners. It's a little open S shape. Curlicue. Back around. And when I hit the edge of my sashing here, I don't have to come all the way down here to this corner. Then I'm going to stitch in the ditch along the side, and I can use my ruler, or if I've got a very steady hand, I can just free motion it and eyeball it to keep myself in that ditch space. And now we're back to using the straight ruler on our next triangle. My ruler's off track. Let me just adjust a little bit. There we go. Now when you're stitching on one of these pre-printed panels, sometimes it can be hard to see where that ditch is because the background may blend in to the print. There's no seam line. Just like right here, it's gray and gray on both sides, so you can lose track. So you want to keep your eye out for something like that. Back down the side, and notice I'm using both hands on the ruler now. That is probably the most secure way of holding the ruler. And I don't want to do that little swoosh in the corner now. I want to do it later as I'm moving out of this block unit. So get that positioned in. Now is where I want to do that free motion here in this corner. I think I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. Let's just reposition a little bit. Just a nice little open double curve line. Curlicue in, back out, and down. Right into that triangle, so we're in position for our curved ruler. And then I can use either side of the curve, whichever way makes it the easiest for ruler placement. I'm down in that bottom corner again. And now it's time to do the next swoosh before coming out of this unit. Back out, around, down, and up that sashing line. Get my straight ruler out. I love combining my regular free motion and my ruler work together. take this pin out. And while we're at it, let's take this pin out. We've got plenty of stitching in the quilt now. I don't have to worry about having all those pins in. I could go ahead and do the free motion here, but I like to go ahead and do the straight ruler all the way around and then come back with my curved ruler and do that free motion in the corner. Grab my curve, the low curve number 12. Oops, almost forgot about my freehand work. You don't want to do that. Then you'll have to come back later. Make sure you don't whip around that curve because that can throw your tension off. Now let me get that ruler back in here. So again, this panel is from a free online quilt along that I've been doing on my Facebook page, Amy Quilts, and I'll have the link in the description of this video below. You can check that out. A bunch of videos as I quilt live and answer questions a couple of times a week. I think there's even panels available still for this quilt. You can find those at amyquilts.com. And of course you can find links to the blog through there as well. Now I don't have to go all the way to the corner, remember. I'm going to come back up. And now I'm ready to start my next one. You get the idea at this point. So let's take a look at what we've done so far. Just a fun little design to do nice and continuously when you've got a nice little row of flying geese. I hope you enjoyed watching. Come find more at amyquilts.com. Bye-bye.